let's get to the trade recap. George Pickens is now a Dallas Cowboy. Not technically, I don't think it's gone fully through yet, but expected to go through today. He's a Dallas Cowboy. The Steelers get back a 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, and they give a 6th-round pick to Dallas. So to kind of even out whatever that money is for the numbers are in that trade compensation. That's not a lot. But also, I think he came with this red flag warning that came at the end of last season where there probably weren't too many teams lining up to be like, yeah, I want to add this dude to my locker room. So if you can, though, the Cowboys they had Randy Gregory. They had Greg Hardy. They've had, problem character guys before and made it work sometimes. Obviously, when you have problem character guys, they're not always going to be 100%. That's the whole rub here. But they've made it work. And for the Dallas Cowboys and how desperate they were to add a wide receiver, I love this move for them.
To try to frame what I'm about to talk about, I Googled, what does a cowboy do? And herding and caring for cattle on a ranch, traditionally on horseback, is what a cowboy does. Now, they've had one really good horse out there at receiver in CeeDee Lamb, and they've got a horse at quarterback in Dak Prescott. And everybody knows how I feel about Dak Prescott. I feel like you can win with him. And obviously, CeeDee Lamb's got the chops. Shout out to Adam Shine. That's one of his throwaway lines for CeeDee Lamb. They brought this guy in, George Pickens, who is an absolute Mustang, a wild horse. Yes. He's a guy that nobody's ever been able to put a saddle on and really tame, break the horse, as it were. You watch some of these shows and some of the best cowboys and these guys out west, they're patient, they're calm, and they find a way to break the horse. I'd like to think that a guy like Dak Prescott is maybe what George Pickens needs to be able to take his game to the next level. The Dallas Cowboys love a superstar, and you alluded to some of the huge personalities and some of the guys who have towed the line or leapt over the line as it pertains to the character stuff. George Pickens checks all the boxes for what the Dallas Cowboys are going to try to get done and what they've done for decades now in Dallas. Jerry told us to wait around and that he was going to make some moves and they were going to have some trades lined up. I had no idea I was going to be waking up today and hearing George Pickens going to be in a Cowboys uniform. The NFC East is going to be unbelievable in terms of explosiveness on the offensive side of the ball. And obviously Dallas, they re-signed Osa, and they went and they drafted guys on the defensive line as well. I think it was Ezeraku is going to be an edge rusher there, correct? Yep. Opposite Micah. So they've got the Dragons on offense now, and with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, with George Pickens, and then on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to be able to get after those stars at the quarterback position in the NFC East. But look, it all comes down to, is George Pickens going to use this as an opportunity to reinvent himself? Is this going to be a renaissance of sorts for George Pickens, the person, the teammate, the preparer? Is he going to be in it in the biggest moments? Because we all know George Pickens is one of the most talented people on any field that he's on. No matter what city, no matter what night of the week, he's the guy. But if he can't get right between the ears, we got big problems. So for the Cowboys, find a way. And for Schottenheimer, it's going to be quite a task to get accomplished with his first few days in office.
Right. Hey, welcome to your first head coaching job. Here is George Pickens.
Your defensive players got a huge podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Win a Super Bowl. They love McCarthy. He's gone. Good luck. And here's George Pickens.
I will say, though, this makes their draft strategy make a lot more sense. We're like, why in the world did they draft, almost a dozen guys in this class and none of them are a wide receiver? This trade was obviously in the works for a while, I'm guessing, because that they would have taken a wide receiver. They should have taken a wide receiver and they're not. But we also kept saying about this wide receiver class, it's a lot of Robins to like a Batman. And that's why we thought maybe they'd be involved in it, because they have a Batman, right? You have a CeeDee Lamb. Well, George Pickens is a Batman too, right? I am obviously extremely high on him, but even just like the numbers.
He's never Bruce Wayne. He's always Batman. He needs to be Bruce Wayne every once in a while.
Yes.
Okay.
He needs to
chill out. Put the suit on. Okay.
You can't take the suit off, dude.
Yeah.
It's 2 a.m. He's up all night and he can't take the suit off. But with George Pickens, like he has averaged over 2 yards. So 2 yards per route runs kind of like the cutoff for a number one wide receiver. Only 20 guys in the NFL did it last year. He's done it each of the last 2 seasons. This is not a guy who's like a complimentary piece to CeeDee Lamb. This is a guy that, like, if you do not put attention his way, if he gets the one-on-ones, if you are giving attention to CeeDee Lamb's way, it's child's play. Like, he is a true alpha talent at the position, and he put up those numbers with Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Now he goes to Dak Prescott. Like, it is going to be a massive upgrade for him, a massive upgrade of the Dallas Cowboys. They all of a sudden, in this arms race that is the NFC East, which is, at least in terms of the Commanders and the Eagles, probably as stiff a competition at the top of a division as exists in the NFL right now. They at least can put themselves in the conversation of, should things bounce one way or the other, they could take that division. They could still be a playoff team. Before this trade, though, I said it. They were not. I did on last week's show, when I did the solo show, I was like, this is not a playoff team. They are not good enough right now. This one put them in the ballpark, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's still going to be a steep hill to climb with those 2 other teams that you mentioned at the top of the board. Obviously, the Eagles, people are going to be counting on them to have a Super Bowl hangover, but you and I both know they just found a way to reload. They took the names and numbers off the backs of the jerseys that we fell in love with and just replaced them with new ones, and they're going to reload, retool, do the same damn thing. It's what Howie Roseman's done historically, and obviously the quarterback has stepped into another echelon in terms of greatness. We all thought Jalen Hurts was good. He's great now. Super Bowl winner. He almost got it done a couple years ago. So he's concreted there. And obviously, as long as that offensive line's intact, they're going to be great. For Washington, Jaden Daniels, he burst onto the scene with a meteoric rise to the top. Rookie player of the year, offensive player of the year. But people were like, hey, how about MVP? Let's throw him in the conversation for that. They added a left tackle who has been great for the last decade. They're not messing around. So for the Cowboys, it's an arms race in that NFC East. And unfortunately, there's a 4th team we haven't even mentioned in that division. And we got a lot of questions about that too.
Yeah, the Cowboys, as it stands right now, Vegas odds 7.5 wins. Obviously, a lot of that's because you got no more freebies. There's no more freebies in the East. Every single time you get a win there, it's going to be a dogfight.